Hey guys, welcome back to Hack It Out. Got another movie review for you today, this time over War for the Planet of the Apes. So, War for the Planet of the Apes is a sequel to Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which of course was the sequel to Rise of the Planet of the Apes. So, this is the third movie of this new Planet of the Apes trilogy that started back in 2011. Before I get into it, like usual, I'm going to say there's probably going to be some minor spoiler stuff in here. I'm going to try to be as vague as possible, but sometimes when I start talking about movies, I get kind of excited. It's hard for me to be super vague, but at the same time, I'm not going to go head first into major spoilers or anything. So without further ado, we'll just jump right back in. So War for the Planet of the Apes stars, of course, Andy Serkis once again as Caesar, and this pretty much picks up, a few years after the events of the second movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And this time, the main human of the film is played by Woody Harrelson. In the first movie, we had James Franco, of course. The second movie, we had Jason Clarke. And now this one, we got Woody Harrelson. So because of the events of the first movie, this simian flu has spread, and that caused kind of some conflict between apes and humans that really developed in the second movie. And then this one, it's even bigger than that. More of the population, you assume, is just gone. And so there's this little band of military fanatics, I guess you could say, that are on one hand trying to eradicate the apes, but on the other hand are also trying to maintain their position as far as where they are in terms of battling with other humans. And so Caesar is kind of caught up in the middle of this with his own kind, trying to protect them, but also still wanting to stay out of this war that Koba, the bad ape from the second movie, pretty much started. And as you could see in the trailers, Caesar says, I'm not the one that started this war, but he's going to intend to finish it. So that's what he sets out to do in this film. And of course, there's a lot of events that take place in this film that of course are emotional. It's basically what you get out of the third movie in a trilogy. You're going to get emotionally impacting scenes, and that's exactly what this movie has, and it really delivers. And I've seen some people say that for a movie called War for the Planet of the Apes, don't go in here expecting battle after battle after battle after battle, because for a movie with war in the title, it's really not a war movie per se. I would say that the second movie had a lot more action than this one does, but this one is just a lot more emotionally active. And this movie was it was beautiful is all I can really say about it. All the actors, everybody did a great job, of course. The directing, it was directed by Matt Reeves again, and it was just really well done. It blows my mind how just amazing that the apes look and how well the motion capture, how well everything is done. Just from the little fibers, all the little hairs on their bodies to just their facial animations and their eyes, and it's just incredible how well everything is done. And it just really brings you into the movie and really makes you almost connect with the apes. And you find yourself really rooting for the apes and kind of rooting against your own kind, humanity. It's another one of those movies that really don't portray humanity in the best light. You've got movies like District 9 and Chappie. That's kind of what this series kind of has reminded me of in a way. It's just those style of movies that really kind of paint humanity in a bad way. With this movie here, it had me on my edge of my seat from beginning to end. While there were some slow moments, I never really felt like the movie was dragging. I never felt like it was losing its momentum or it lost its luster, because I was in anticipation the entire time, just waiting, wondering what's going to happen next, just really in it with Caesar. And you just really feel so connected to him that you've seen him grow, since he was a little baby, essentially, into what he is now. And just, you want to see where it all ends up. And that's exactly how I felt throughout this movie. And the score for this movie really helped elevate the emotional experience. And as much praise as I'm giving this movie, there were a couple of things that didn't really click too well for me. One being, there's a character that was shown in some of the trailers. He's kind of sort of the comic relief of the movie. And while he was an interesting character, and he was a funny character, there was just some a few times where I felt like he was a little over the top, and I felt like some of the humor was just a little much and kind of took me out of the emotion that I was feeling at the time. And so in a way, his character didn't work for me as much as he might for you or for other people. I can understand them wanting to have a little bit of comic relief in such a somber, emotional movie, but I just felt like for me, it didn't really do anything for me. And the only other thing I would say is that there were a couple things that took me by surprise that I wasn't quite expecting, but for the most part, the movie was pretty predictable. And so those few things are going to keep it from being a complete perfect A+ movie for me. So with all that being said, I will give War for the Planet of the Apes an A. It was a great movie. Probably my favorite of the trilogy. If you're going in really wanting a whole lot of action, it's got action in it, but I would say it's not nearly as much as the second movie. This one really kind of is the emotionally impacting movie. So anyway, if you've seen War for the Planet of the Apes, what did you think about it? Do you like it better than Rise? Do you like it better than Dawn? Have you seen the old Planet of the Apes movies? Which ones of those are your favorites? If you haven't seen it yet, what have you thought of the previous movies? Which one of those were your favorite? I'm curious, so let me know down in the comments. So anyway, if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, check out our Patreon if you're interested in becoming a supporter of us and helping us to grow. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.